Letting go is one of the most difficult things we have to do as humans. And I say this because it's a pain that we can't physically mend. It's an emotional wound. And since we can't see it, but we feel it everywhere, it feels overwhelming. And it feels like a piece of us is missing when we have to let go of something. Whether that's letting go of a friendship, a relationship, the idea of something, a possession, a future, a career, or maybe even the death of a loved one has created this letting go. Or it could be just bad habits, something that's been limiting your life or a limiting belief about yourself. And I bring up letting go because right now our world sucks. And the news is so depressing, and there's so much we have to contain and learn how to let it go at the same time. Letting go of the things we can't control, right? We can only control ourselves. We can control how we think, feel, and behave. We cannot control things outside of us. So I want to go through just some ways to help yourself get back to a simpler time and give yourself that chance to let go, to feel peace. Without letting go, that negative inner critic comes in and it's so loud and it creates fear. And where there's fear, there's anxiety and there's stagnation or even steps backwards. So letting go with something in your life or something that's limiting you, you have to turn inward and you have to focus on you. So you might want to take this as an opportunity to channel your anger or your grief into a positive action. Using that energy for something that will fill up your emotional tank, like, making new friends, calling up an old friend and connecting with them, volunteering in your community. Focus on learning a new skill. Use that energy to not dwell on something you've lost and instead, bask in your ability to move forward and learn new things. You can also change your perception of this letting go by looking at what's underneath of the pain. What's the root cause? Is there a blessing in disguise here? Is there a lesson to be learned here? Can I move through this pain and learn something? Another way to let go is just cry it out. Cry away all those negative feelings. There's so much that gets pent up in our bodies, a lot of harmful chemicals. When we feel pain, when we feel grief, and we're in that emotional turmoil. So crying it out really does reduce stress. In fact, last night I was just like, God, I really need to cry. I put on a movie and was just like, I'm ready, got my popcorn, and of course, I bawled my eyes out, but it felt so good. Making a list or some sort of visualization of the expectations you had of whatever you've let go. For example, maybe you had an expectation about your future job or an interview that you had done, and you imagine this career path and all the things that would be happening in your life, and then bam, that opportunity is gone, and now you have to let go of that idea. And so writing it out, putting them in a jar or putting them in a place and setting them off on the shelf just to take them out of your body and putting them somewhere else can be really healing. You can also burn all the expectations you had, which I really thoroughly enjoy fire. So I encourage under safe conditions. Um, Lighting things on fire shows a physical representation of literally letting it go and letting it dissolve in front of you. You can also take paper, write things on it, soak it in water, and then throw it away. But something that is tangible like that can be very healing. Another thing to let go is to start feeling your feelings, and feeling your feelings is hard, right? But when you let go of something, there's loss, there's anger, there's bitterness, there is sadness, there's all these different feelings that get mixed up and they feel like a tangled up ball. So when you feel something, allow your body to feel it. Sit with it. Oof, I'm feeling sad right now. Oh my God. And just sit with that. That will build up that tolerance for that feeling rather than pushing it away. The more we push our feelings away, the bigger it builds and it builds and it builds. And if it builds up too much, we might unleash or release all of our feelings in a negative or harsh way when we least want it to come out, right? Like against our spouse or something like that. In feeling your feelings, rant it out. Just talk it out. Before you talk to someone, for example, that has disappointed you, or you have to let go of this person and you need to have a conversation with them, talk out what you're going to say before you go to that person. Or maybe there's not a person at all, but just allow yourself that space to rant and say whatever you want to say. No filter. You're allowed to express yourself, but make sure it's in a safe place. Maybe you need to be alone in your room, or maybe you're with a friend, but allowing that to unleash is very, very healthy to let go. You can theoretically just throw something away. I have written names of people I've had to let go on paper, and I crumple it up and then I throw it away as if that chapter of my life is over with that person. It's time for me to move on. This is a good opportunity to talk about journaling. Journal what it is you're letting go. What were the hopes you had for this thing or this person or situation? And just free write all the feelings that are coming up, all the thoughts that are coming up, and put it out on paper. There is brain research where when we take our anxiety or anger or sadness and put it onto paper, it reduces those feelings and they don't feel so big and scary anymore because they're no longer being rattled in our head. They're physically in front of us and we're expressing them. And that's why a lot of therapists will say, do you have a journal and are you journaling? That's the reason why there's science to this. Getting that physical energy as well could be a way to go through this letting go process. So get into a new sport, move your body, get into running, rock climbing, whatever, gives you a sense of fulfillment. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. In summary, what I want you to gain from this is letting go sucks. And we have to let go of things all the time. Relationships, stress, work, whatever it might be. And in that letting go, there's pain. But in that pain, there's growth. And as soon as we start sitting with our feelings and taking care of ourselves emotionally, physically, we're planting the seeds for us to thrive and get stronger and stronger. So when we have to let go in the future, we are gaining the skills and we already have those seeds planted and are growing that we can utilize and move forward with, and it gets easier. And letting go also means acceptance. Acceptance of this is the situation. this is how I feel right now. That's how that person feels, or the job feels right now. It might not feel fair, but again, you can only control how you think, feel, and behave. You cannot control anyone else. And so there's that acceptance there of taking responsibility for you rather than the situation or the person or whatever it is you're having to let go of. There's power in this. There's power in the ability to sit with that and move forward with it. If you can do that, man, nothing's going to get in your way. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to subscribe, comment what your thoughts were, and I would love to hear from you. Thank you.